saying earlier, I saved a bunch of those. I mean, it's not like it's doing anything but holding some crap together for me. And that's all it's doing. These were project boxes. And this is actually part of it as well. This box, this was in between here. And it was this long. So this was one big box. I needed it to be that width and that height. So I cut them. I cut the centers out, and then I was able to get two. One this height and one a little bit higher. And the ones that are a little bit higher I used in the gun case. These other ones I used for out here just to hold certain things in. And these, as you can see, I'm stacking them up just to make a little bit of a box out of them. And I'll put them all on this one here. And then I can put some of these things that I have over there in two different boxes that I had in two different places. And couldn't see where either one of them were because they were both hidden. So, I'm going to take a little bit of this there, a little bit there, 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 and put it right there. And I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to use a different type of glue other than this JB Weld that I'm using right now. But this will dry a little bit quicker, where the other stuff is going to take a little bit longer. So at least with this, I know it's going to be there to kind of hold until I finish up with the other stuff. Makes sense, no?
Calling engine 1.
So this stick out.
On 99 Taxel Road, is that pull the pole or pull the house?
Now I bought some of these little washers the other day, remember? I said,
Roger, thank you.
Well, sure as shit, they came in handy. I'm using them.
Thanks for calling engine 1. Frontier's inquiring if it's the low wire or the middle wire.
Yesterday the wife made a good point. And I got an email. And basically it was from the Coast Guard. And I've been recommended, highly recommended. Oh, nice to be wanted at 70. Yeah, I'm getting tired. So, they have this thing, I mentioned it before, called Auxnet. Now you don't have to be a member, you don't have to have a ham ticket. So you don't need to be a licensed ham radio operator.
It's going to cross the road.
But you do have to be a member of the Coast Guard. And what it is called Auxnet. It's a little rag. What it is, it's a communications thing within the Coast Guard
Roger.
that's used for in case of an emergency for transferring information via radio from one place to another. You can chain link right across the country if need be, and that's what that's all about. Now, in order to become Auxnet, you have to take a small written test. You read this little 10-page, 12-page booklet on radio etiquette. And a little bit about what you're going to do as a Auxnet member. And then there's a test that goes with it. So, for the most part, it's not that bad. Once you take the test, there's only certain radios that you can use, because they have to be FCC certified. So you can't use a lot of these cheaper Bofang, Bafons, Wushans or whatever. Wushans are most of the time are all certified. But for the most part, you can't use the cheaper radios. And for the most part, you have to own the radio. It's your own radio. Now, some flotillas may have a radio that they give you once you've been certified and you become a member. Now, you've taken the test. That's one start. So now, you have to present that test to a person, a hierarchy. Then you have to have that hierarchy certify that radio as being a radio that will work for what you need it to work on, do the job, and be FCC certified. And then once that hierarchy gets done doing what you're doing, and you get your call, like November 24, Oscar 24, Delta 24, Delta 1, whatever it may be. But then that hierarchy that did the inspection of the radio and all that has to turn all that paperwork over to the district commander of Auxnet. And that's what they want me to do. They want me to become the CO FSO for Connecticut. Well, I'm thinking about it. But then the wife said, how many things do you want to get involved in? I mean, how many things do you want? How many can you do? I mean, it's nice to give, and to give back to a country that treated me pretty good, even though right now it's falling apart. But, in the town, so I mean, I really don't mind to keep busy with it. But, again, how many things can I do? Without getting totally overwhelmed or aggravated. Because sometimes you get people that do not listen. And that's part of the problem. You get somebody and you say, listen, this is what you got to do. Here's how you do it. And you're going to have to wait 4 to 6 weeks. Maybe even 8 to 10 weeks. When it happens, it happens. If you don't hear anything at 8 to 10, give me a buzz and I'll check it to see. But for most part, even if I try to check, I gotta rely on somebody else to look into it, who may be overseeing 10 of me, 12 of me. You know, if I'm Connecticut, I don't think they're going to give somebody over, the person over us, because every state has one. And they're not going to say, well, you know what, let's let one person handle all of us. You know, like whatever. So I'm sure that they're separated that into their zones. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4 through 8. So you have 8, and then the 8 report to a final 1, and that 1 will report to his superior. So it's a pyramid. So by me checking with the one that's in charge of, we'll say, Sector 1, he has to get a hold of his hierarchy, his boss, which is the one in charge of all 8 sectors, to say what's going on, and then he has to get a hold of his to find out what's going on. So sometimes, because we're not just sitting there on the phone waiting for you to call, so they can say, okay, John wants this, okay, John wants this, John wants this, John wants this. Right? No. They've got other things on the plate. They're not sitting there just for you. Well, some of these people at the lower end of the poll, the one that is calling me now, wanting to know what's going on, don't you realize what's going on? You gotta wait. I haven't heard. It may take another 3 or 4 weeks before I hear from the first respond that I asked. Okay? And that's what will aggravate me more than anything. Not that they're not that they're trying to be a pain in the ass. It's just that they are. You know, they don't realize what's going on. And when you tell them, they don't quite grasp it. Because, for instance, a few years back, I was in charge of something which I had since given up. And get a guy, I tell him, listen, it's going to take a couple of months, at least 2 months. I said, if you don't hear from anybody on the 10th week, call me. And I'll put the word in and see if I can find out what's going on. Well, 8 weeks go by. Oh, I thought it was 10. You knew, you know. But okay, I'll deal with your stupidity. I'll bite, you know. I'll play your silly game. I said, all right. So I explained to him what I just explained to you guys. Listen, they're not just sitting there waiting for your paperwork to come across. This has got to go through a number of hands. I said, so it could take an easy 3 to 4 more weeks, depending on what they're doing or what they're not doing, and what comes important, what's most important at the time. So give it another 3 to 4 weeks. Now I just explained the whole routine, how it's chained down and chained up, and how everybody has to make contact with somebody, and it takes time. Not everybody's just on the phone doing a party call and resolving the problem. After I'm all done telling him this, he says, well, okay then, so when do you think it's going to happen and when should I call you back? Now I told him 3 or 4 times the whole story, give it another 3 to 4 weeks. But see, he's not hearing that. He's only hearing what he wants to hear, which is when. You know, and that's what pisses me off. And that's one of the reasons why I gave up that particular position. Because I'm not going to deal with idiots. They're not going to drive me nuts. Now you get one here and there. It's always going to happen. And again, they don't mean to. Sometimes they just don't understand. And then some of them think that they are the one. You know, that everybody, you know, they know. And he's the one. And he knows everybody and everything. And the rules don't apply. But sometimes it works that way into your favor, depending on just how high you know. And then sometimes it just doesn't. It's just, you know, it is what it is. And 99% of the time, it is what it is. And you're not going to rush the government into anything. Even though they never make the right decision, it takes them forever to do that. Okay, so now that I got done with that, I'll let that sit overnight. And that'll cure and dry up semi-clear. And then I have 4 or 5 more here just in case I need to make another. Hey, Tuck. Hey, boys. You know, yesterday I did some recording with this camera that I'm on now, the one that I'm going to use for the shop.
That would have made a great YouTube video.
What was that?
Me using the Cub Cadet to blow the leaves.
Oh. Well, if you want to go out and blow more leaves.
No, I got everything all cleaned up now.
Oh, how'd it work?
It's all looks better than the leaf blower.
I told you, yeah, it's good stuff.
The only thing is now it's all piled up, you know, over here.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get the John Deere to push it around
Alright.
into the hole or something. I might as well bring this in because you're going to need it out here. It's been sitting on that park bench all this time.
Yeah, I put some in the cooler. I gotta put the cooler in the truck. Do I need to keep this or should I just throw it away?
Keep it because I needed to read it to remember how I did it. I mean, it's simple, but I don't, I do it so not